because obviously they don't lie all the time.
Yeah.
But anytime Jesse was questioned on stuff and he didn't have quite the right answer, you know, there was a smirk on his face or something, or he'd camera check, and it's like, dude, this is very clear. Like, please bring money to my poker table because I'm desperate to take it. You know, like.
Oh no, totally. Yeah.
So that's kind of how I read that situation, and I know he didn't believe me for a second.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I feel comfortable knowing that because I know when he gets home, he'll go, stupid.
Exactly.
Because like he and I had a conversation at one point, and it was pretty late. It was the night of the booze, and everybody was out in the hot tub.
Oh yeah.
And he and I talked that night, and then like I tried to just tell him, I was like, hey man, like I'm telling you, it's not how you think. And then he walked out of the room and he got halfway down the stairs and you just heard, damn it. And I'm like, I don't know if that's doubt creeping in now for him, that he maybe believes me, or he feels like I'm trying to shade him and I wasted his time, you know?
Yeah, no, but it comes back to all the options. And Kayla and I talk, and we know, we're like, you know, we might not be a target today. Could be tomorrow. Could change every fucking hour in this place. But we know we are going to be one at some point in time. So we got to say, hey, do we try and like take some of the stronger people out early so that our chances are better for maybe winning comps against the weaker people later?
Right.
Or do we try and work with stronger people and see, you know, if we can win these comps and take it? But it's just like, and I don't particularly know what's the best way to play the game, so I like to find out from other people.
Well, I mean, historically, both ways have worked.
Yes.
There have been groups of strong people who, but the problem is that at that point, it's a knife in the back.
Exactly.
And not a knife in the front. And so I'm not sure if there's ever been, and there may have been, and it's slipping my mind, but I'm not sure that there's ever been the four horsemen of strength type
that went all the way to the end.
That went all the way to the end and had a strong person win.
Yeah,
typically the winners are not the big beefcake muscleheads, right?
I think it's a really tough thing to do, is keep a group, whatever number, 4, 5, 6, till the end.
Yep. Because at some point, everyone realizes that they're 6 of 6.
Yeah.
And so they create a new 4 where they're 2 of 4.
Exactly.
You know?
That's why there's so many angles and options and everything in this game. So that's why I'm just like figuring that out.
Yeah.
So I mean, she hasn't had a chance to pitch me yet, but I'm positive it's going to be about working together already.
Something tells me, it will be.
You know? Like,
I'm actually going to be curious as to whether or not she pitches you directly, or if she just pitches you through Kayla and assumes the best.
Yeah.
Because I think that's, you know, I know that the path for Kayla and I to have this conversation is not yet open. I assume that you guys are going to chat about our conversation or not.
Yeah.
And that any relationship I build with you may not repair any relationship with Kayla without direct intervention, but it may help smooth things a little.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know that it's real ass bumpy right now.
But we've both talked, and we both bring different aspects from the table, from the guy side, from the girl side, from each side.
Of course.
So, you know, we always like to kind of converse about things that may help us, things that might be better here, this week, today, tomorrow. So it all depends kind of where we're at moving forward and how those things can help us.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens the next couple of days.
Yeah. I think one of our 2 nominees is going to play the game a fuckload harder than the other one.
Yeah.
And that's because of the Jesse example from last week.
Totally.
Where busting your ass and running around making promises was ultimately rejected by the house.
Yeah.
And Jesse left. So if Ronnie's running around the house making deals, you have to assume she needs 6 votes to stay, because you know if she only gets 5, Erica will stay home. So where are those 6 coming from? Because it's a 5-5 vote and Erica decides, right?
Yeah.
So she has to have a clear majority to stay.
Totally.
And I really...
And she's going to be making
totally promise I won't put you on HOH. If I win HOH, and then she does, turns around and goes, it's fucking Big Brother, man. People are going to lie to one another.
I fucking watched it happen.
She has said over and over and over again.
And that's how she tried to make me feel comfortable last week.
Right.
That's exactly how she did it. Like, I didn't, because I wasn't even, I got to a point too, and Kayla was like, man, like, you know, you can't really be campaigning for Jesse. You got to make sure you watch our game coming up.
Right.
And she was pretty much like, yeah, you know, I think there's a pretty good chance he's going home. You know, you can vote for him, all that stuff. But it's probably not the smartest thing to go around trying to back him up.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, and I just left it for a couple days.
Yeah.
Man,
but again, I know that may have soured him a little too, right?
Yeah, of course, right?
And then that moved him into desperation.
And all that kind of shit, which, I mean, it's a game and it makes sense at the end of the day.
Hey, I
back's against the wall. Are you going to do what you're going to do?
Full credit where credit is due. You know, he farved it, right? Which is he dropped back. He needed, or Aaron Rodgers, I guess, is more your...
Yeah, exactly.
Dropped back. He needed an 80-yard touchdown on the last play of the game to tie it, and he threw the pass in the air. You know,
did.
And it didn't land, but sometimes it does.
True.
You know,
got to take the chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I look at it too, and you know, you've lied once in a big way. What's stopping you from doing that again?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
exactly. I mean, never mind the fact that they had to come up with a bullshit story.
Yeah, exactly.
When they came in, that was something that they had to do. But at the end of the day, if you're going to come into this game with a bullshit story, the thing that has never left my mind, never once, is her sitting on the couch in that meeting when we had it on day whatever, 7.
Yeah.
And her saying, well, maybe we have something secret that benefits the house. You'll never know. And I'm like, you're already pitching not to evict you.
Yeah.
Like,
right away.
You know.
I don't know.
So anyway, I just kind of
I don't know, from me not watching a lot of it, but from just what I gather from talking to people and what I think
nature,
being in this game, I think it would be absolutely unfair if they had some secret power. That's why they carry this all the way to week 7, and then like.
Well, sometimes it's stuff like that where it's only good for X number of weeks or whatever, you know. But like I said, you got to flush it. And the fact that we've been allowed to nominate them means that they're not immune.
Exactly.
But if they walk out and go nothing, but then again, Marin being Marin, I don't know that he wouldn't have been so stressed if that happened. You know, like if he had it, I don't know that he wouldn't have been as stressed as he's been. So either way, you take your shot. And if, like I said, if it ends up with I'm the easier replacement, then shit happens, you know.
Oh, totally.
Or vice versa, right? Like maybe she comes down and goes, oh, well, I've got to rename now 2 more replacement nominees. There's a twosome, you know, pick a twosome.
Yeah.
And that's...
they're running
you know
around
what I mean?
now.
Like, so. Yeah. So, but I don't know who those twosomes would be, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't get rid of Maddie anymore. She's got the necklace. So now what, right? And you almost always want to pick a twosome, not one of a twosome, because at the end of the day, one of them goes home, you only have to fight one of them. Whereas if you nominate 1 out of 2 twosomes, then there's 3 people who are pissed at you when you're done.
Instead of just one.
Instead of one person who's pissed at you when you're done, you know what I mean?
That's true.
So the math checks out, right? Like if you're ever going to target and you know that they've got a twosome ally, you have to target that other person too. Yeah. Because otherwise, like it would do... If I win HOH, it does me no good to put you against Will on the block.
No.
Right? Because if you come off, then I've got you and Kayla at me. And if Will comes off, I've got Will and Ronnie at me. I have to put up one of the, you know what I mean? Like
exactly. Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Right?
No, of course not.
So.
Yeah. So
it's a crazy beast.
Yeah, we'll see what happens the next few days.
That's why I love this game so much.
It's awesome. Yeah.
I was thinking today, I was looking at the pool table. And I racked up the balls and everything else. And I thought it really interesting that they give us a pool table because it's very much like the game in that you've got your ball in the cue ball.
Yeah.
And there are 15 other ones you have to get rid of without ever having your own ball leave the table. And sometimes you can take a direct shot.
Yeah.
at something and get the ball off the table. Sometimes you need to have another ball take out a ball for you. Sometimes you miss the shot and you end up in a terrible position.
Fuck, you do a lot of thinking,
oh, well, I play a lot of pool alone. So, but I looked at it this morning and I was like,
hey,
holy fuck, this is the game on felt. So,
it's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, oh my God, like everything you have to do, you have to be very careful and precise. And if you take your shot, don't miss, you know, and that kind of shit, right? Like a lot of that applies to what we're doing. I've also seen as I'm going around that 2 of the legs have the rubber off. You want to help me fix that? Because that might be why we're
getting that wonky roll.
Yeah, getting that wonky roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was like, yeah.
But no, so yeah.
But yeah,
now I want to hear both sides.
For sure.
I want to hear everything before I start giving my word bullshit. I've seen
of
what
course.
that can turn into.
Yep, that can run into the wrong way.
Could be Veronica's demise of how she played last week, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, yeah, because she just told Jesse flat out she was gonna save him, right?
Yeah.
Or she was gonna vote for him. So we'll fix it when we're done walking, or we can fix it now. Either way.
No, I'm doing more laps.
But yeah. You're right. She told Jesse to his face she was going to vote for him, and then she.
Because I trust what Jesse says, and he came up to me. He's like, "Yeah, V's got me 150%." And I was like,
yeah,
I don't know, man."
But then again, she admits telling Jesse that yes, I told Jesse I would vote for him, but I didn't because when I told him, that was how I felt at that time. But 3 days later, that wasn't how I felt anymore. And I'm kind of like.
Well, so
but that's shady shit. Like,
well, exactly, because if you give me your word this week that, hey, keep me,
exactly.
HOH next week, this, that, and the other, how do I know you don't change your mind the next hour?
Right. Yeah. How do I know that 3 days from now you're not going, well, I mean, that's what I thought at the time. You can't hold me to that.
Exactly.
Or, yes, I can. That's
like the one thing now I learned from last week. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell anyone
not
100%.
To anyone too early.
Yeah. Until maybe I get down to it and I know. And who knows? I might even end up going into votes now, just not telling anyone.
Yeah. And understand that I'm not going to be the 6 and a 6.5, but I am going to be the 7 and a 7.4 or the 8 and an 8.3.
Exactly.
And because I felt like that's how the house was going to swing last week, I felt like it was going to be either hard one way or the other, and I didn't care which.
No.
Because at the end of the day, without sounding as callous as this is about to sound, it ain't me.
You're right.
Like long term,
yeah,
everybody has to go but me and one other person. So who is that other person in my head? I don't know yet.
True.
But long term, and I know you're probably the same way, right? You recognize the fact that it's a game, and at some point, all of us have to go if you're going to win, and that just is what it is, right? The question is, who's your 8 ball?
Yeah, you're right.
Who's the last one you want to take out? And then once you know that,
fix this. I need to get some water.
Yeah, sure.
I'll get some water now, and I'll come back and help you.
Yeah, it's this one. It's both sides on this table.